As a young citizen of India, armed with technology, knowledge, and love for my nation, with a vision of transforming India into a developed nation, I'm joining Shobhit University. What about you?
Very good morning to all the participants from India and abroad. Shobhit Institute of Engineering and Technology Meerut deemed to be university, and it's a Center of Excellence, Center for Agricultural Informatics and E-Governance Research Studies, and Center for Agribusiness and Disaster Management Studies extend greetings to all the participants from India and abroad who are attending today's national webinar series on doubling farmers' income by 2022, Atmanirbhar Bharat in agriculture. This webinar series is being hosted on every Thursday at 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Today is the 17th of March 2022. This webinar series is on the topic Dairy Husbandry for Food Security and National Prosperity. On behalf of the Honorable Chancellor, Honorable Vice Chancellor, the faculty members of the university, and on my behalf as Professor Emeritus and Chairman of 5 Centers of Excellence, Center for Agricultural Informatics and E-Governance Research Studies, Center for Agribusiness and Disaster Management Studies, Center for Informatics Development Solutions and Applications, Center for Industry 4.0 Technology Studies and Application, and Center for Health Informatics and Computing. Let me welcome today's guest speaker to deliver the talk in the 69th edition of this national webinar series, Dr. Narayan G. Hegde. Good morning.
Namaste. Good morning.
He is the managing trustee of Nisargopachar Ashram, Urli Kachan, Pune. Former principal advisor and managing trustee, BAIF Development Research Foundation, Pune, and also member board of trustees of Swaminathan Research Foundation, Chennai. For the benefits of the participants and the guest speaker, so far under this webinar series, the university has organized 68 webinars on the topic Role of Agricultural Cooperative Societies and E-Governance, Blockchain Technology-Based Fishery Value Chain, a self-contained village, a felt need of the day, Spices Informatics Network Value Chain, Lantana Camera, a camouflaged treasure trove, Smart Hill Agriculture, a digitalized hill agriculture value systems, Mera Mobile, Mera Marketing, Integrated Mariculture, Aquaponics and Precision Agriculture, MAPA Biofarms for Income Revolution, Smart Tribal Agriculture and Optimizing Value Chain. 8% of the Indian population live in our tribals. Smart Agri-Tech and Industry Perspective, Land Resources Information System in India, Present and Road Ahead, Weather Decision Technologies for Increasing Farm Income, Big Data in Smart Farming, Sustainable Soil and Land Management for Climate Smart Agriculture, Understanding Market Dynamics for Increasing Farm Income, Role of Technologies in Mitigating Crop Risk, How to Generate Additional Profit via Simple, Attractive Approaches in Farm Produce, Adoption of Flexi Rubber Check Dam Technology, Potential Benefits for Farmers in Rainfed and Coastal Agro Ecosystem, Realizing the Economic Benefits of Agroforestry, Octosol, Organic Humic Solutions for Increasing Crop Yields and Quality while increasing farm income and improving soil health, Closing the Nutrient Loop, Phosphorus Management in Protein Farming, Improving Nutrient Use Efficiency and Farm Productivity, Artificial Intelligence enabled pest management technology for agriculture crop protection without pesticides, Empowering farmers through extension and knowledge dissemination, role of mass media, Smart Poultry Monitoring Solutions, Agrobiodiversity, Intellectual Property Laws, Agriculture and Farm Welfare, Farmers' Welfare, and insight into the issues for India's agrarian economy, Manufacture and application of biochar for increased soil fertility and crop productivity, Sustainable integration of livestock with agriculture for farm income increase. Role of geographical indicators on improving farmers' income. Lessons from Asia Pacific region. Dairy Informatics Network value chain. A dairy tech startup perspective for farmers' income increase. Spices Informatic Network value chain. A turmeric startup perspective for farmers' income increase. Generating sustainable on-farm income through fintech interventions. Nutrition sensitive agriculture, pathway for increasing farmers' income. Artificial intelligence and data analytics to ensure optimal nutrition in the soil, harvested food that minimizes human disease. Bioenergy supply chain, a business opportunity for rural enterprises and farmer produce organization. Tech enabling India's tech-starved farmers for manifold increase in productivity and income. Open insurance ecosystem for agriculture produce, risk management solutions to overcome repercussions on farmers' income, market stability, and food safety. Role of mass media for farmers' income increase, a case study from Green TV. AgriStack, open source digital infrastructure for the agriculture ecosystem, a Linux Foundation project. Circular bioeconomy towards resilience, urgent need for redefining raw materials and modified waste management policies and regulations. Agritech, new horizon in Indian agriculture. Supporting of farmers for marketing will only help doubling of income by 2022. Rural transformation for farmers' income increase, case studies from impoverished districts. Mobile-enabled software as a service to solve complex supply chain challenges, a case study from daily orders. John Deere's journey in India, integrated precision agriculture solutions, doubling the income of farmers through eco-agri revolution. Bayer's carbon farming initiative, post-production intervention, maximizing value for farmers. BAIF models of revival of traditional water management systems to enable doubling of farmers' income. Should we adopt farmers' welfare as a new paradigm instead of farmers' income? ICT intervention in agriculture, challenges and opportunities. Democratizing the future of farming, a global experience. Commercial processing of orders, the next game changer in dairying. Data-driven agriculture and agri-tech startup perspective. Agribusiness potential in Moringa. Agricultural income pathways, strengthening links between agriculture activities and nutrition outcome. Technology, education, research and rehabilitation for the environment. Cultivating dignity for farmers. Model Village Development Program, a case study from Maharashtra. Market-driven agriculture, need for development of crop-specific strategies at block level. Farmers Collective with value addition, powerful business model for income increase for small and marginal farmers. Lessons from Operation Flood for transforming agriculture and food systems. Sustainable food production, agricultural marketing in India, defects therein and remedial measures. Small-scale fisheries and their contribution to rural livelihoods, case studies from developing countries. Impacting lives through livelihood promotion and value chain development, case study of Vritti impact model. Organic spices cultivation for doubling of farmers' income in northeast region of India, a value chain analysis. Agriculture exports management, imperatives of integrating with global value chain at the earliest. Agriculture value chain, challenges and opportunities. And today is the 69th edition of the National Webinar Series, which will be addressed by Dr. Narayan G. Hegde, Managing Trustee, Nisargopachar Ashram, Urli Kanchan, Pune, on the very important topic, dairy husbandry for food security and national prosperity. Dear participants, please see the keywords: dairy husbandry, food security, and national prosperity. Acharya Vinoba Bhave said, India is largely an agricultural country, Krishi Pradhan Desh, and a country of villages, Gram Pradhan Desh, with more than 6.25 lakhs villages. It employs more than 50% of the India's workforce and contributes almost 17 to 18% of its GDP. Agriculture is the main source of food, employment, and income for 70 to 80% of the people suffering from hunger in developing nations. Farmers of India are facing multi-dimensional problems: price fluctuation, debt, and lack of infrastructure and weather. India's farming community comprises of about 14.5 crores operational holdings, of which 85% of the farmers have small and marginal size operational holdings. Farmer needs timely, location-specific, and personalized information for effective control on their production, risk, and then market their produce to identified market opportunities. Many national level programs, be it Digital India, Make in India, Skill India, Startup India, Stand Up India, have faced operational difficulties for its impact at farm level and farmer level, and that too at small and marginal farmers. Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, in his Independence Day address on 15th August 2021, he said, I quote, we will have to, and in the coming years, we have to increase the collective power of small farmers of the country. We have to give them new facilities. They must become the country's pride. Chota Kisan, Bane Desh Ki Shan. Small farmers become the pride of the nation. He also said it, and on 28th February 2016, while addressing a farmers' rally in Bareilly, Uttar Pradesh, he said that my dream is to see farmers double their income by 2022, when the country completes 75 years of its independence. I also would like to quote the recommendation of the Doubling Farmers' Income by 2022 report 2018, in which I was associated as a group leader for two volumes, Volume 11 and Volume 12B. Volume 11 talks about empowering the farmers through extension and knowledge dissemination, and Volume 12B talks on digital technology in agriculture. This gives 7 mission board programs, the recommendation. If this is operationalized at the farmer level and farm level, of the 14.5 crores of operational holders, Indian agriculture will be digitalized to the core. Which are they? Digitalized agriculture, digitalized transfer technology and innovation in agriculture, synergization of Digital India, Make in India, Skill India, and Startup India programs for transformational reforms in the agriculture sector in 3 categories: smart irrigated farming, smart rainfed farming, and smart tribal farming. The first time that this is echoing the views of 8% of the Indian population who are tribal and who do sustainable tribal farming, smart tribal farming. Why can't we have digital technology reaching them? Digitalized agromet advisories and agriculture risk management solutions, digitalized agriculture resources information system and micro level planning for achieving smart village and smart farming, digitalized value chain for about 400 agriculture commodities, digitalized access to inputs, technology, knowledge, skill, agricultural finance, credit, marketing, and agribusiness management to farmers, and a digitalized integrated land and water management system, and a digitalized farm health management for reduction of farmers' loss, to see as human health, plant health, animal health, soil health, water health, fish health, and environmental health as one health. It is $1 trillion economy. India can do wonders if you are able to use GIS technology, remote sensing technology on a village with respect to this integrated health management system. It's very important. And Atmanirbhar Bharat is a road ahead. It is a vision of Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, of making India a self-reliant nation rested on 5 I's: intent, inclusion, investment, infrastructure, and innovation based on 5 pillars, namely quantum jump in economy, infrastructure, one that represents modern India, system 21st century technology driven, and vibrant demography and demand, whereby the strength of our demand and supply chain should be utilized to full capacity. We also now have the next 25 years strategic plan that is under the title Amrit Call led up to at 100. Dairy husbandry for food security and national prosperity. Today's topic. And I would like to give some, related information before our guest speaker, not Dr. Narayan Hegde, speaks on this, talk. Dairy farming is a class of agriculture for long-term production of milk, which is processed either on farm or at a dairy plant, either of which may be called a dairy. For eventual sale of a dairy product, dairy plays a significant part in numerous aspects of Indian society. India has the world's largest dairy herd with over 300 million bovines, producing over 187 million tons of milk. India is the first among all the countries in both the production and consumption of milk. In this webinar series, we have organized the following topics: role of agricultural cooperative societies in e-governance, wherein daily cooperatives were discussed; sustainable integration of livestock with agriculture for farm income increase, from Ayurved Limited, Ghaziabad; dairy informatics network value chain, a dairy tech startup perspective for farmers' income increase. Mr. Utkarsh Kapoor is an dairy tech startup. Mobile-enabled software as a service to solve complex supply chain challenges. A case study from daily orders, once again, is on dairy informatics network value chain, which is being operationalized in the Karnataka milk, under milk societies undertaking. Lessons from operational Fred for transforming agriculture and food system by B. Krishna Gopal, a social entrepreneur and an alumni from IRMA, Anand. And impacting lives through livelihood promotion and value chain development, case study of Vritti Impact Model by S. Balakrishnan, Chief Executive Officer of Vritti Livelihood Impact Partners from Bangalore. And agriculture export management, imperatives of integrating with global value chain at the earliest. And agriculture value chain challenges and opportunities. Dairy husbandry is the care and management of healthy dairy animals for better yield and better health. Animal husbandry involves the business of rearing of healthy animals and its economics, including feeding, management, and breeding, etc. Milk production overview. In the mid to the late 20th century, Operation Flood transformed the Indian dairy industry into the world's largest since 1997, when it surpassed the United States in milk production. And it accounts for 1/5 of the global milk production. Over the last decade, production has increased at 5.5% annually, with 187.7 million tons of milk being produced during the financial year 2018-19. And I would like to quote an article published in www.ibef.org, Digitalization of India's Dairy Farming. The problem is, unlike the West, India's dairy industry is highly unorganized. About 60% of the surplus milk is handled by unorganized sector, while the remaining 40% is procured by the organized sector, comprising dairies, cooperatives, and private companies. In the developed countries, about 90% surplus milk is handled through the organized sector. As the dairy industry is unorganized, technology advancement in the sector have been minimal. Lack of technology in this sector has resulted in high wastage and inconsistent quality and quantity of milk for many small farmers. According to the research conducted by the Chamber of Commerce and Industry of India ASSOCHAM and MRSS estimates, about 3% of the milk produced gets wasted annually. The volume of wastage, coupled with increased demand for dairy products, may hamper India's plan to produce about 300 million tons of milk by 2024. In addition, average milk yield of cows in India is lower than its US counterparts. 1,248 kgs of milk per cow in a year, compared with 10,000 kgs of milk per year in US. Indian dairy farmers must increase produce and focus on reducing wastage to meet the target. And digital technology will play a crucial role in making the transformation possible. Which is this transformation? That is increasing production efficiency and reducing wastage in the supply chain. Of course, supply chain of Indian dairy industry is quite complex, owing to its dependency on various factors such as ambient temperature, availability of cold chain, and short shelf life. The fragmented Indian industry further adds to the complexity. Digitalized solutions such as IoT and advanced analytics can help by sharing real-time data with the different stakeholders and detecting any deviation in the quality and quantity of milk during phases of transportation in the value chain. While delivering the valedictory address during the 43rd edition of the National Webinar Series on doubling farmers' income by 2022, the Honorable Chancellor of the University said, dairy is one of the biggest agribusiness in India and a significant contributor to Indian economy. In India, 75% of the farmers belonging to the unorganized dairy sector belonging to rural areas. The fundamental change in the dairy is maintaining quality and quantity when a diversified supply base. Within a diversified supply space, digitalization will have a profound impact in the value chain. Dairy value chain consists of farm input suppliers, that is feed for dairy animals, equipment for milking and taking care of dairy animals, milk production, managing the herd and ensuring suitable milk yield, picking up milk from collection centers and transferring it to chilling units, milk processes, dairy and cooperative firms convert raw milk into a variety of dairy products, distribution to retailers and consumers. It means 4 categories of the actors in the dairy value chain. And I would like to quote that the Mr. Hari Babu is one of the dairy startup. He delivered a talk on mobile-enabled software as a service to solve complex supply chain challenges, a case study from daily orders. He has done it. He has done a very good anatomy of this sector with respect to market size, strategy to link urban household. It is very important. And India produces, India consumes, India's consumption is about something like 33 crore, liters of the milk per daily. It's to the amount of about 4.5 lakh crores. And this is the order of the milk size and strategy need to be worked out to urban household. And farmers' prices realization, he said that farmer is getting only 60% from the end consumer's product price. He is losing about 40% for the entire prices, and the 17 rupees per liter can be made available to the farmer if it is digitalized. And infrastructure for digitalization can come from 1% to 2% of the 17 rupees of every liter, which is being given to between the farmer and to the final consumer. If the middleman is taking, the logistic is taking, and we have to reduce the logistic waste, and we can have a 1 to 2% from each this 17 rupees as a infrastructure for digital technology for the dairy value chain. And he also talked about detailed daily technologies. And another one is that Mr. Utkarsh Kapoor is another dairy startup, Dairy Informatics Network value chain. He has given a very good technology solution for the entire dairy, value chain. And Shobhit Institute of Engineering Technology is working on the, very important network value chain, that is Dairy Informatics Network value chain, to bring all the actors of the dairy value chain, digitalized is very important. Domestic milk production during 2019-20, it is 198 million tons. Surplus milk sold from production acres, production areas, 103 million tons, 52%. Milk consumed, 95 million tons, 48%. Surplus organized sector, Cooperative plus private, 21 plus 20 million tons, 40%, and surplus unorganized sector, 62 million. So how to facilitate the unorganized sector in the surplus milk, which is under the surplus milk category. And dairying generate income and contributes to food and nutrition security. Climate change and variability have added many atrociousness to Indian food security challenges, and the relationship between asset components of farmers and climate change is always complex. In India, dairy farming substantially contributes towards the food security and always plays a supportive role to the agriculture from the adversities. And livestock, besides contributing to the national economy, plays a key role in improving livelihoods to 80 million rural households. India is a global leader amongst the dairying nation and produced 198.48 million tons of milk in the current year, valued at more than 8.32 lakh crore. However, productivity of Indian dairy animals is low as compared to most of the dairy countries in the world. Due to low productivity, farmers are not getting remunerative incomes from rearing of dairy animals. Dairy comes under the primary sector. Linking dairy farmers to the market is the most important element of any plan to increase dairy productivity. Management of animal disease is crucial to the economic well-being of farmers. National Animal Disease Reporting System 2012, of which I was closely involved, of networking about 7,032 locations up to the block level veterinary offices, for this, National Animal Disease Reporting System. It has to be revisited. And the system needs an overall with a focus on providing efficient services to farmers, albeit at a cost. Production of fodder continues to be the challenge since fodder cultivation is still not a well-planned activity. Launching of Dairy Mark. Dairy Mark has been launched by Honorable Prime Minister on 23rd December 2021. This unified logo is featuring the earlier respective logos of the Bureau of Indian Standards, ISI mark, NDDB quality mark, and Kamadhenu cow for product, food safety management system, and process certification under one umbrella. With the dairy mark, our consumers will be ensured about the quality of milk and milk products, and will be easy for milk producers, processors to obtain quality certification by applying online to BS through portal. Mahatma Gandhi has laid the foundation of Nature Cure Ashram at Urlikanchan, an interior village of Maharashtra, by keeping in mind the principles of Gram Swaraj and Swasth Swampalan. He believed that prosperity of the country depends on the health and wellness of the village. He believed that it is important for village to be self-sufficient and have health in place by being close to the nature. Our guest speaker, Dr. Narayan G. Hegde, is presently the managing trustee, Nisargopachar Ashram, Pune. Let us now turn to the address by Dr. Narayan G. Hegde, managing trustee of this ashram, and he was a former principal advisor and managing trustee, BAIF Development Research Foundation, Pune, and for member of board of trustees of MS Swaminathan Research Foundation, on very important topic, dairy husbandry for food security and national prosperity. Today's topic will motivate and galvanize the participants watching over telecast through facebook.com/Shobhit University India, or youtube.com/Shobhit University in, or linkedin.com/company/Shobhit-University for establishing dairy husbandry startup and associated value chain at Gram Panchayat level. Means 2.25 lakh startups with respect to dairy related value chain to promote and sustain vocal for local to make it global. Indian farming community comprises of about 14.5 crores operational holding, of which 85% are small and marginal farmer. According to the synopsis of our guest speaker, in 2021, the total annual milk production has exceeded 288 million tons, taking only 10 years to further double the milk production. Major factors which contributed to this phenomenal growth of the dairy sector were efficient breeding services to produce progeny of high genetic merit, timely health care and control of disease, balanced feeding, making efficient use of available fodder resource, and development of a value chain for processing and marketing of milk with forward and backward linkages. Dairy husband is one of the most reliable tools for ensuring food security and rural prosperity in India. Sustainable technologies with scientific backup and farmer friendly policies are essential to sustain the growth of the dairy sector. Agriculture export cluster will enhance the involvement of small and marginal farmers in the export bracket, improving the performance of dairy informatics network value chain. Dairy informatics network value chain stands to benefit large number of dairy farmers of the unorganized dairy sector, that is 60% of the surplus milk produce. Let us unlock the opportunities. Let me introduce the guest speaker to the audience. Mr. Manish, can you put the profile? Dr. Hegde is a specialist in natural resource management and environment with an academic background comprising of MSc Agri from GP Pant University in Nainital, MS from University of Hawaii, Program in Management of Agriculture from IIM Ahmedabad, and PhD from University of Pune. And he was associated with BAIF Development Research Foundation, founded by a noted Gandhian, Dr. Moni Desai, since 1974, and served as the President of Managing Trustee from 1993 to 2009. Dr. Narayan Hegde is presently serving as the Managing Trustee of Nisar Kopachar Gram Shuddha Trust at Urlikanchan, Pune, popularly known as the Natural Cure Ashram, which was established by Mahatma Gandhi in 1946. The ashram has also expanded to its capacity to accommodate over 200 patients with subsidized and free treatment available for needy poor patients. Dr. Hegde is also serving as a trustee of MS Swaminathan Research Foundation, Chennai, National Agro Foundation, Chennai, Agri Biotech Foundation, Hyderabad, Agriculture, Men and Ecology Foundation, Bangalore, and Science and Technology Park, Pune. Dr. Hegde has written several books and technical papers on natural resource management, sustainable development, and spirituality and Gandhian way of life for prosperity and peace. His book, Gandhian Approach to Rural Prosperity, provides a practical approach to sustainable livelihood. Another book, Positive Attitude for Good Health and Happiness, has been popular as a tool for stress relief and happiness. Shami Tree, Teacher for Humanity, Teacher for Humanity, is his recent book, which emphasizes the need for following Manava Dharma, the moral obligation of every human being for not only for peace and happiness, but also for promoting sustainable development. Mother Nature, one of his books on environment, was awarded the best book for children in English by NCERT, Government of India, in 1991. The Ministry of Ayush, Government of India, honored Dr. Hegde on the 105th birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi on October 2, 2019 for exemplary services rendered to naturopathy. We welcome Dr. Narayan Hegde to our
Thank you very much.
Doubling Farmers Income by 2022, Atmanirbhar Bharat in Agriculture.
Thank you.
Very important topic, dairy husbandry for food security and national prosperity on 17th March 2022. Thank you very much. Over to you for your address.
Thank you very much, sir. I'm first of all grateful to Dr. Moni and the Shobhit University for giving me this opportunity. The topic is dairy husbandry for food security and national prosperity. Why we need this? The challenge we have to address is poverty in India. As you know, even today, about 20-25% of the people are living in poverty. Poverty is high in rural areas, up to 30-35% in some states, low in urban areas, and it has been fluctuating, as you can see. There was a COVID infestation during the last 2 years. So our poverty, people living in poverty, went up from 8 million to 60 million, 60 million to 134 million. And now, again, this year, the poverty has come down. People living in poverty has come down from 134 million to 84 million people. That means poverty is a very important issue. Even today, people go hungry and sleep without a meal in the night. Hence, we need to address this on priority. What are the typical problems of the rural poor? Basically, they have small land holding. 86% of the farmers have less than 2 hectares. Almost 85% or 65 to 80% of the farmers don't have any irrigation. So they are totally dependent on the erratic monsoon. As a result, the crop production is low. The employment generation is very seasonal. Irrigation facilities in the country, as such, they have only 40%, 40 to 45%. Most of the poor are dependent on livestock, as you know. However, almost 70% of the livestock we have in the country, they are unproductive. They are not economically viable. So very often, poor farmers maintain cows and buffaloes, but thinking that they will contribute to the income, but on the contrary, they end up in getting into losses. Only because it's a free land, open grazing, the remain the animals remain starving, half starved, they don't complain. That's why they still survive. They are not contributing to the income. Their average average yield has been 1 to 2 tons in India as compared to 4 to 5 tons in China. Women literacy is low. In most of the poor families, women are the food securing agents. Men are not taking any responsibility. But unfortunately, being illiterate, they have a lot of handicaps of mobility or manageability. The infrastructure is very poor. People are dependent on government infrastructure or private who are exploitative. And as a result, their earning, most of the earning is low, and what about 60% of the earning goes into only food procurement. As a result, they lack confidence, they suffer from malnutrition, poor health, and as a result, this is a chronic poverty they are entering into. Looking to the agricultural land holding pattern, you can see 86% of them are small and marginal. Only 13% of the farmers are medium to small, semi-medium. 0.5% are large holders. And among them, you know, about 20 million farmers, 13.8% of the farmers are female-headed, women-headed farming families. So they are more vulnerable to generate income, mobilize resources. So, in such situation, when agriculture is failing, other options they are looking for. Unfortunately, if you look to the poverty, the red circle, you can see here. This is in Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Bihar, Odisha, MP, and part of UP. These are the poorest, worst affected by poverty, and you can see, look to the agroclimatic conditions, they are not dry areas. The red ones are the dry areas. They are fairly good. They have good soil, they have good water, good climate, in spite of that they are poor. This is a cause of concern and also indicates that we are missing the opportunity to encash to help these poor farmers. In other way, the problem is more simple than many other countries in Africa where there is no moisture. So somewhere, you know, agencies like ours or with government and the public-private participation, with good technology, we should be able to manage this poverty problem at the earliest. Livestock, as I said, is a backbone of poor families, and they are mostly dependent on four categories: cattle, buffalo, sheep, and goat. Among them, today's topic focuses on cattle and buffaloes. We have the largest population of cattle as well as buffaloes in the world. And however, as Dr. Moni said, although we are largest milk producers, like we have 208 million tons produced during the last year, But average, when you take up the average milk yield per animal, it's only 1,200 or 1,300 liters. That's only because of the crossbred cows. If you segregate, I will come to the average yield little later. The unproductive, nondescript cattle, which represent almost 60 to 70% of the population, they are economically not viable. That is where there is an opportunity to convert the problem into prosperity. As you can see, in this country, 65 million, 6.5 crore families, 65 million families are owning cattle, 39 million families are owning buffaloes, almost about about almost 10 crores families, they are owning cattle and buffaloes. So if you take this profession as a development tool, you will be able to reach most of the vulnerable families in the country. You don't have to search. If you take agriculture, good technology, you will not be able to transfer this technology among most of the poor and marginal farmers because their resources are not adequate to adopt technology. But in case of livestock, you should be able to manage these animals, livestock owners, we are in large number. The beauty of this livestock husbandry is assured source of income. I have been working in BAIF for about 45 years, and over the last 45 years, our experience is that if a family owns three buffaloes or cows of good value, good productivity, the family can earn a net income of 60 to 80,000 rupees per year. Even today, our poverty line is something like 60,000 rupees or 50,000 rupees per family per year. That means if only with three cows or buffaloes, you will have you can not only come out of poverty, but also have assured source of milk, nutrition for family. You have excellent source of manure for agriculture, and you have settled without any worries, year-end employment. So today we are emphasizing on dairy husbandry as most important because it can reach largest number of poor all over the country. The best part of the dairy husbandry is cows and buffaloes are maintained by all sections of the society, irrespective of caste and religion. Hence, it is easy for adaptation. Similarly, we have experience to demonstrate with 8 to 10 goats or sheep. A family can earn 50,000 to 60,000 rupees per year. And the advantage of these goats is the gestation period is only about 1.5 years. In case of dairy, probably you need to wait for 3 to 3.5 years because if a farmer is maintaining a nondescript cow, the cow has to produce a better progeny that will take about 9 months to 10 months. Then the calf has to grow for 3 years. So by the time the newly born calf comes into milk production, it's about 3.5 years. Nevertheless, we have waited for 70 years in this country after independence. Another 3 years should not be a big thing for a poor person, provided he is assured of power, uh, elevation of poverty, coming out of poverty. Hence, I consider dairy as a most potential employment source, food security source in the country even today. You can also see here the population. Highest, the 10 states which are having largest population of cattle are West Bengal, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Bihar, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, Jharkhand. You can again see Chhattisgarh. Again, the countries where the poverty is high, they also have large number of cattle. So that means we are able to reach the poor families at the earliest. You don't have to wait. You don't have to search for poor. They are all poor who own cattle. Same is the case with buffaloes. The largest population of buffaloes are in Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Bihar, Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra. Buffaloes are very little selective as far as the agroclimatic region is concerned. Nevertheless, they have been performing equally well in places like Andhra Pradesh, where the agroclimatic conditions are extreme. So, this is another indication that the buffaloes and cattle are very powerful tool to help the farmers in poor regions. Now look at the milk production. In the country, in India, in the year 1991, we had 198 million bovine population. Cow and cattle and buffaloes together, we have about 20 crores, 19.87 million. Out of that, 54 million were female cattle, 21 were buffaloes in milk production. At that time, out of the total milk production, buffaloes contributed 27, buffalo population contributed only 27, but they were producing about 50% of the milk production. Gradually, you can see from in the 60s, when the livestock development program took a little seriousness, gradually the milk production increased. The population increased. As a result, gradually you can see the number of animals. Buffalo population has proportionately increased from 21 million to 56 million, almost 2.5 times, as compared to cow population from 54 million to 76 million cow. So that indicates in spite of all the progress, buffaloes have made major impact in milk production, although we have been always talking about cows. Probably one of the reasons is cow is linked with politics, unfortunately. I need to talk a little bit about it later. Now look at the milk production. That was the earlier slide was on the number of animals. And you can see the milk production. The milk production in the year 2001 was almost 80 million tons. And after 5 years, it's 95. 2011, 10-11, it was 120 million. 2015-16, it is 155 million. And 2020-21, it has gone to 208 million. That means 20 crore tons of milk per year. It's a lot of money, because in the villages farmers don't see hard cash, because either they are small farmers, their agriculture produce either locally sold, or they would have mortgage, they would have taken loan from the landlords, so they would sell the produce, they don't get cash. That's the unfortunate part. And you can see the one time, initially 1991, the buffaloes were only 27% population compared to cows in milk producing categories, and the buffaloes shared about 55%. Now cows have gradually also started producing more, so the buffalo share has slightly come down, and the cows contribution to milk production has gone up. It's because of the improvement in the cattle breeding program. Now look to the contribution of different categories of cows and buffaloes to milk production. I hope you are able to understand. In the year 2015-16, out of the total milk production, 35% of the milk came from indigenous buffaloes. And average buffalo yield was 5.76 kilograms per day. Then the buffalo nondescript breeds, they are degraded genetically. They contributed 14% of the milk. Their yield was only 3.8. You can see between the graded buffalo and a pure buffalo, before degraded buffalo, there is a lot of difference, almost 40% more yield with using a breeded buffalo. In case of cows, indigenous means purebred cows. The average yield, they cows contributed only 11% to the milk production, and the average yield of our desi cows breeds was only 3.41 kg per day. Many times people claim 18-20, but the average has been only 3.4. This is the national government average record. As compared to that, the nondescript cows, which are not of any breed, their milk yield is only about 2.1 liters. You can see again the difference between the purebred desi cow vis-a-vis non-bred, but non-specific cattle in the country. Now, when you compare that with crossbred, the crossbred cows have been on an average producing 7.3 kg milk per day. And the crossbred cows contributed 26% of the total milk production. And exotic is our purebred Jersey or Holstein Friesian have contributed 11 kg average, and the goats have contributed also half a kilo. So you can see from the whole table, it's a very important table to analyze. Who are the economic animals? The economic animals are buffaloes and partly crossbred, partly indigenous breeds. Nondescript cows are not economical because with 2 liters, that means the income is at the rate of 30 rupees farmer gets. From sale of milk, a farmer can get about 65 rupees per cow per day, whereas the feeding cost itself will be 60 to 75,000 rupees, so 75 rupees per day. As a result, it's not economically viable. And more such animals, it will be more pressure on the forest, more pressure on the resources, and there will be shortage of cattle feed. Hence, it's important for us to maintain better quality animals and restrict the population of the animal. Our focus should be to produce more milk with less number of cattle and buffaloes. That is how we will be able to succeed. Again, once again, the same thing. You can see comparatively population of different type of cattle. Exotic cattle represent in this country, exotic crossbred and exotic represent 20% of the total population now. 20% are indigenous breed. Even today, in the 2020, 60% of the animals are nondescript, where the average milk production is around 2 liters, which is not economical. So we need to really under buffaloes are 20%, exotic crossbreds are 20%, and 60% are nondescript. So if you want to really make the dairy husbandry profitable, we need to work on nondescript cattle to improve their productivity and introduce better technology for producing more milk through exotic or crossbred cattle as well as indigenous breeds of buffaloes. As you all know, among the cattle breeds, there are almost about 30 breeds of cattle. Among them, there are only 4 breeds of cattle which are known as milk breeds. These are Gir, Sahiwal, Red Sindhi, and Tarparkar. As most of the Gir, Red Sindhi tracks have gone to Pakistan, they have very small number of Red Sindhi cows. So leaving only Gir, Sahiwal, and Tarparkar as the only dairy breeds. Now, remaining are either they are dual purpose or draught purpose. The dual purpose cattle breeds, which are medium milk production, their average yield has been 1000 to 1500 kg per lactation. They are Haryana, Kankrej, Rati, Minari, Ongole, and Dangi. Among the dual purpose low yielders, less than 1000 kg per lactation are Mewati and Devni. And among the rest of them are all draught purpose breeds, which are mainly used for bullock purpose, and the milk production has been less than 500 kg per lactation. That means 1.5 kg average. Now, if you really want indigenous breed for dairy husbandry, you have to focus on the first breed. That is the best production because the Gir Sahiwal remaining ones are not optimal because their genetical framework is not good to optimize the milk energy into milk production. They get into body muscles. So this is a challenge. We need to really policy is required whether you want to force all the farmers to maintain these breeds or you want to upgrade these breeds wherever farmer is interested to produce more yield. Because many times the government has a policy that somebody else has to take the breed conservation. If a poor farmer has no money to feed his own family, why do you expect him to conserve these breeds? Is a big question. One has to be practical and rational. These are the breeds. They look beautiful, absolutely divine. Our Hindu religion says we have 33 crore devatas in these cows, so naturally they are very precious to us. But when it comes to farmer, we cannot only worship, we need to really make them produce milk so that the farmer will be able to feed the cow after selling some milk. So this is a practical point. Farmer has to be is farmer is knowing. Only promoters like us, we are becoming very sentimental and sometimes make very wrong promise to farmers that, because we need cows for worship, you want farmers to breed, maintain any cow which is not economically viable. This should be we should be therefore very careful to make sure that we give good advice to the farmer, that he is able to generate some income by putting all his hard work and resources. Now look to the number of animals. We have been talking a lot about the desi cows during the last 10 years. However, the number of animals available are very small. Imagine we have 10 crore families in this country, farmers. 10 crore, more than maybe 12 to 13 crore families. Now, how many the Gir cows? I said Gir, Sahiwal, and are the major ones. And you can see the highest number of indigenous cows are in Haryana breed. The pure bred Haryanas are only 16 lakh. I hope you are able to see 17 lakhs. And there are about 47 lakh Haryanas which are upgraded. That is, the Haryana bull was crossed with the local cow and progeny produced looks having Haryana prototype. And altogether, we have 62 lakh Haryana cows in this country. Haryana breed, even including calf and all the things. Now, we need 12 crore farmers. Can we afford to give all of them the indigenous breeds? We don't have. When there is small number of precious animals and the demand is more, middlemen start cheating the farmer. A cow which is fetching 30,000 will be sold at 70,000, but at the end, farmer realizes that he is being cheated. This has been happening during the last 5-6 years. Now look at the number of Gir cows. Gir animals is the head, not only cows. You can say if the number is this, the cows are only 40% of it. Now there are only 13 lakh Gir cows and 37 lakh upgraded Gir. So altogether we have only 50 lakh Gir cows in this country. Gir or Gir tribe. Similarly, Sahiwal, we only have 48 lakh Sahiwal animals in this country. Rest Conkerage, we have over 30 lakhs, and Kilar, Haryana, Rati, and so on. Now, I want to impress us on the point that if everybody wants to have a desi cow, which is of milk type, there is no cow available. We have to generate it, and producing takes long time, and that's the reason I tell you. These are the other breeds. We have the population of different breeds. Altogether, you can see there are 4 million. There are indigenous cattle of, and remaining 111 million. That means 11 crore cows are nondescript type. They are not productive. Our challenge is to improve their progeny. So that is the real challenge which we have been working. We have to work. Similarly, we are the highest population of buffaloes. We have the best buffalo breeds in the world, and among the more popular breeds of buffalo are Murrah. There are 5 categories of buffaloes. One is Murrah group, Gujarat group, Uttar Pradesh group, Central India group, and South India group. In the Murrah group, there are 3 breeds like Murrah, Neeli Ravi, and Banni. They have kind of curled horn. Then in Gujarat group, there are 3 different breeds of Gujarat in buffaloes: Jafrabadi, Mehsana, and Surti. In Uttar Pradesh, we have Badavari and Tarai breeds. In Central India, we have Jerangi, Kalahandi, Manda, Nagpuri, Pandrapuri, Sambalpuri, and Marathawada breeds. They have long horns. And in South India, we have South Canara breed, Toda breed, Godavari breed. So these are all of them are not very popular, but these are the 5 categories. Now look at the origin of buffaloes. They are in a very specific belt here. Only here you can see. So it's indicate that buffaloes can be taken up to other places as well. But in the past, not much of work was done. So people who have evolved, for example, Andhra Pradesh probably has taken a lot of buffaloes from the city breeding tract. Now you can see Andhra has one of the important breeds. So large population of buffaloes, not breeds. So there is a lot of scope for selecting some suitable buffalo breeds and introduce in other parts of the country as well. I'm emphasizing because I'm going to tell you a little later how buffaloes can be more popular and superior than cows. These are the features of buffaloes. They are all, they yield something like anything from 1300 kgs to 2200 kilos. For example, if you have good murra, they can yield up to 2200 kg milk per lactation. If you have real good murra, they are better than crossbred or exotic because they produce 6.9% fat as compared to Holstein Friesian, which only produces 3.8%, almost twice the fat. You get money, better price for milk because of the high fat content. So this is one way, because there is a fat production, high fat, there are a lot of potential for buffaloes in the years to come. In the past, in the olden days, there was no technology to separate fat from the milk before consumption. So, with heavy butterfat, buffalo milk was considered as very heavy and not good for health. Now, with decentralized centrifuged fat separation, the buffalo milk can be much better than cow, as I will show in the next slides. Now, you can also see there are some buffaloes, like in Jafrabadi, it can produce milk where the fat content can be up to 10%. Badavari, I think in Uttar Pradesh, has a record of producing milk with 13% butter fat. So, probably by rigorous selection of good buffaloes, you should be able to produce buffalo which can produce 8 to 9% fat in an easy way. So, particularly Uttar Pradesh, our Shobhit University is centered around Buffalo Track in Meerut. We have a tremendous opportunity to focus on these breeds in the years to come. Now, it's a very important slide. Probably most of us were not aware of it. There has been tremendous publicity about the desi cow milk vis-a-vis the other milk. Today, people in the name of desi cow medicine, they sell ghee for 3,000 to 5,000 rupees a kilo. The cow milk is sold at 100 rupees, 200 liters. There was one time there was a very bad rumor that A1, A2 milk, the cow milk, crossbred cow milk is poisonous, which was baseless. People were literally buying dairy milk from local dairy and sell it as ghee cow milk, and middlemen made a lot of money. From 40 rupees, you buy a liter of milk and sell it for 100 rupees, 60 rupees per liter. You made money. Neither farmer earned nor the consumer saved, but middlemen, spurious people made money. So we have to be very, very important. And I would like to draw your attention to the comparison between the cow milk and buffalo milk. Provide if you are able to separate the buffalo milk fat from the buffalo milk, cow milk, buffalo milk is more nutritious than cow milk because it's only the negative factor is butter fat, only this one. You can see the total solids are, that is because of the fat, the high protein. Buffalo milk has 0.5% more protein. Cow milk has 3.6%, whereas buffalo milk has 4.2% protein. Lactose is higher. Then, cholesterol is low. Cholesterol is low in buffalo milk. Calcium is high in buffalo milk. Magnesium is high in buffalo milk. Potassium is less, of course, in buffalo milk. Sodium is also low. Vitamin is high, and also so as you can see, buffalo milk has high protein, low cholesterol, high calcium. Calcium, protein, cholesterol, these are the important health parameters, and you will be able to be better with buffalo milk provided you separate the fat percent, and the technology is now available. So remember, buffalo is going to be the champion in the years to come. In the olden days, buffaloes were looking very shabby, the fat content was high, so buffalo milk was not preferred. But in the modern era, with the new technology of separation, buffalo milk can fetch premium. And advantage is, India is the highest buffalo milk producer in the world. You can capture premium market for buffalo milk in the years to come. So we need to really consider whether buffalo can replace cows in the years to come. Now, so what is the support needed for small farmers to encash this opportunity? As I said, most of the farmers have non-productive, unproductive, nondescript cattle. You can't dispose of them. We have to make best use of them. So first of all, the small farmers are very scattered. When a small farmer goes to a veterinary clinic, the veterinary doctor doesn't even respond to him. So what is important is to form groups. Small farmers should come together, maybe 20 farmers group or 50 farmers group. So they work as a community, then demand services from various sources, either NGOs or AI service provider or the veterinary department. When there is a group dynamism, the demands for the services can be very well met from. So we need to organize the farmers so that they can exchange. The small farmer also requires a lot of mentoring, lot of confidence building. Unless they come together and exchange ideas, console themselves, the confidence is not built. So if you want to really help these small farmers, I think it's important to form them into groups so that they work as a team. Now you can see in the self-help groups, women, they work like family, one family. Such a strength. They can even, throw the husband out of the house if he's drunkard or if he's not behaving well. That is the women's strength. Similarly, the formation of farmers group is most important. Once these groups are formed, they don't have to depend on the government or private. They can organize their own value chain. The next point is this facilitate services. Important services, as I said, and Dr. Moni said, you need to have regular breeding, you need to vaccinate them, you need to have, the cows are not very sick all the time, but whenever they are sick, they need to be attended regularly. We need to vaccinate them whenever needed. If the animal looks a little suspicious or sick, we need to investigate whether these cows are suffering from any diseases and segregate them if they are having any health problems. So these are the services. Then also procurement of inputs. Whenever the new technology comes, whenever there is new initiative, the village trader makes most of the money. If everybody goes and purchases the grocery, cattle feed, everything individually, farmers are cheated. If the farmers can come together, if they can pool all the requirement and procure in bulk, they will be able to get about 24% discount. If the farmers can collect all the produce and market, they will be able to save the cost of marketing and a better bargain. In the process, they can save about 20%. If we can save 20% in procurement of the inputs, if you can save and earn 20% more in the selling, 40% of the income can be easily increased without doing anything. Only by organization of farmers, coordination among the members, you will be able to earn 40% more. So doubling the income is a cakewalk, provided we are able to work together. So we need to, once we have the farm, then these days we are also not dependent on the veterinary department. There are AI technicians who can get training for 3 months and they will be able to handle the breeding under the supervision of a veterinary doctor. They can take a vaccination. They can help in disease investigation. They can have minor treatment, and they can organize supply of procurement of inputs and whatever is needed for the dairy farmers. So we need to organize service, provide good quality services, and today AI has become a very simple cakewalk, and we should be able to facilitate provided we have organized farmers. And then there is also very important within the village, who is our role model. The time has now gone where you can take them study tour for several days is not possible. What is important is to identify some of the good farmers within the village who knows how to enter the cow, who are able to demonstrate better quality work, who have better animals. Use them as champion farmers. In every village, we should identify 4 or 5 progressive farmers within the poverty group and make them as the leaders in transfer of technology. People who have no confidence, they should be able to go to the this champion farmer and learn one-to-one learning. If you send one farmer to other progressive farmer, what we cannot teach in 1 year in the classroom can be taught in 1 hour. So the champion farmer in every village, we must identify some champion farmers who will be the guide, philosopher, and friend for the small farmers. Then the next important thing is credit. Farmers need a lot of money, working capital. Sometimes they have to buy a better animal. Sometimes their one animal is not producing well. He should be able to sell off that cow and buy a little better quality animal by putting some more money where there is no money. In the last 10 years, when there were a lot of micro finance was funded, almost 26% of the microfinance was used by livestock sector. That means livestock sector has tremendous demand for credit. Now, if the farmers have to spend 20% interest, 12%, 20%, 15%, which is the rate of microfinance credit, what can you earn? So, what is important is to pressurize the government to consider this is a priority sector and give them lending on a priority with low subsidized cost, or come together, group can come together, borrow loan money from the bank, and then disperse among the members so that they are able to get required working capital at an affordable interest rate. Next important thing is feed management. Ultimately 70% of the total turnover goes in feeding the cattle. If a farmer sells milk worth 100 rupees, out of that 60-65 rupees will go for feeding. So if you want to make more money or more profit in the dairy husbandry, we should concentrate on efficient feeding. I have seen in this country we have a lot of shortage, but there is also wastage. You can go invariably to any farmer, even if farmer with great difficulty produces green, he simply throws that green fodder in front of the cattle. Half the grain is wasted, the animals trample. If the same thing is chopped, the utilization of this green fodder can be 100%. Same is the case with the crop residues. So, what is important, our farmers have not understood the real value of the fodder. Best, it is important to make sure that all the available resources are tapped properly to feed the animal. For example, there is a crop called Subabul fodder. You must have heard of it. There was a time when Japan was importing Subabul leaf meal, dried leaves, from Hawaii to Japan because fodder was not, the feed was not available. There is tremendous value for the fodder. Only thing, before animals are not useful, whatever you feed, they are not going to turn into productive thing. So once you have better quality cows and buffaloes, fodder becomes very important. And we must make use of all the available sources of land for fodder production. We have 2 million hectares of Usar land in this country. Usar land, 2 million hectares. These lands have become, they are fertile lands. They were Usar because we used to misuse the water sources. Instead of one hour irrigating, we spent 4 hours on irrigation. We overdosed the water. So all the salts came up and the land has become barren. It's lying idle for decades. We can easily bring them into fodder production. We have barren mountains. You don't have to have the mountains rocky. You can have some grasses. You have some legumes to make the green cover, produce more fodder. We have a lot of municipal sewage water wasted. They are let into the rivers. The sewage water can be used for irrigating fodder and produce for 3 times more fodder. So this is a very important aspect. We must make use of this. Similarly, balance feed. Cattle today is a source of greenhouse gas. In the Western countries, people don't like to encourage livestock development because they produce methane. And only in our country, we always argue that livestock is a source of livelihood. If you don't allow them to maintain livestock, even before global warming, our farmers will die of hunger. That's why our livestock is important. Having said that, this doesn't mean that we can neglect our, this threat. There's a very simple, example. If the every animal produces about 15 kilos of methane in a year. I think if you have two cows, it's equivalent to a car which is polluting. Two cows or two buffaloes will produce as much as greenhouse gas as much as a car which produces in a year. So they are equally potentially dangerous. But if you feed the cattle by chopped fodder instead of directly feeding, you can reduce the methane production by 10%, 15%. Simply by chopping, soaking the body, the system doesn't produce more methane. The methane production can be reduced. So similarly, instead of feeding only the fibrous fodder, if you can mix with little bit of green fodder and little concentrate, balance the feed, the methane production can be reduced further. And another thing is, more methane means less energy. Out of the total feed, some part is converted to methane, some part is produced into energy, which will produce milk. So if you can reduce methane production, you can have more milk production. So feed management has to be addressed. If we can properly feed the animals without wasting, there should not be any wastage, shortage. Then, of course, marketing is a very important thing. Although our production system is not efficient, fortunately, because of our cooperative system, milk marketing is better organized than the vegetables and food commodities. Today, if the milk is sold at 50 rupees a liter in the market, farmer gets 30 rupees. The additional cost addition is only 80%. In case of agricultural commodities, if a farmer is only 30% or even less than 30% farmer gets, sometimes vegetable you won't even get it. So fairly good, but it's very important, Dr. Moni said, is highly disorganized, highly perishable. So more efficient milk collection and marketing is a point essential. And in this efficiency, it is more of honesty and integrity which can work much better than technology. Because everybody should own it. If this is mine, if we expect that anyway government will manage, I can cheat by putting water, then the whole thing collapses. When the farmer members become competent, involved in their own business, there is no corruption, there is more transparency, there is more income generation. So it's important for the farmer producer groups to own the responsibility than to expect somebody to come and help them. So this we also need to create awareness they must be linked with all these sources. In the name of poor farmer, dairy farmer, hundreds of agencies are drawing money from various donors, but this doesn't reach the small farmer. I would suggest that the donors should come together and say, every person who is spending money, the government money on behalf of the farmer, should be accountable, should be part of the value chain. So either we send in digital technology or we send in methane reduction technology. It's all contributing to the ultimately benefit of the dairy farmer, and should be able to quantify what percent of the profit has come from our sector. So that's a part of the value chain. I'll show you a little later. Now, I said, we have developed in BAIF, they have done extremely nice technology. A high school dropout, he is only ninth standard. He goes on motorcycle from house to house. When the technician goes to the small farmer's hut, there is a lot of communication one to one. All the training can take place over here. As a result, even people who are so poor, they have beautiful cows. The cow is worth about 50,000 rupees. It's born from a cow which is not fit for 500 rupees. With the technology of producing these are crossbeds, because if the indigenous, the cow takes 10 generations to become a 2000 liter milk production. So the crossbed is able to produce a cow which was producing 500 liters is able to produce a daughter which produces 2500 liters in the next 3 years. Now the value of this cow is 50,000 rupees. I have gone into UP, interior UP, where a farmer told me his buffalo was offered a price of 90,000 rupees. He said, "No, I won't sell. I want 1,10,000." I said, "Why?" "Sir, ये तो इतना कीमत है, मैं इससे और 3 लाख रुपए कमा सकता हूँ." So today, if you think this is 50,000, there is no other movable asset in the poor family which is worth 50,000. Each cow is 50,000. If he has 3 cows, every alternate year he can produce a 2 3 cows. And today we have new technology where segregated semen, you can use selected semen where 90% of the calves born can be female. So with 3 cows you can produce every year 3 female calves, and it is again adding 50,000 asset to the family. Now this is a movable, fixed deposit. Anytime the farmer wants to sell it, wants to get the daughter married, send the child to the school, he can sell a cow and get money. So this is such a valuable asset. It is not only feeding the family but also provides security to the family, as to whenever they need any money, they don't have to mortgage anymore, they can sell this animal. So BAIF is presently covering almost about a lakh of villages. Almost 50 lakh inseminations are made. The uh, milk produced is worth about 20,000 crores every year. Imagine, from a village, the milk economy from some village with 100 cows is about 2 crores. If a village has 100 cows or buffaloes in milk production, the about 2 crores are pumped into the village economy every year. In addition, we have free milk for all the family. They have nutrients. You don't have to invest in fertilizer. You have healthy agriculture, healthy, food chain. So this has been, now everybody, but there are a lot of organizations doing the same thing. And if we can handle this, it's all doable. There is no investment required. It's a very simple case study. I had conducted a study. A family, you can see Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Rajasthan average. A family before joining the cattle development program of BAIF was earning about 20,000 rupees a year. Okay. And after joining the program, say about 6 to 8 years, it takes about 6 to 8 years, the average income has gone to 1,11,000 rupees. No capital investment, no loan, no liability. This is a net income apart from home consumption. Remember, if you have milk in the family, at least the children can have milk, women can have some curds and buttermilk. As a result, nutritionally they are secured. You have organic farming. Now, this is the live data of thousands of farmers conducted very recent. It's about 5 years ago, and you can see they are selling about 10% of the farmers are selling less. Only 10% of the farmers selling less than 1,000 kgs of milk every year. 20% of them are selling below about 2,000 liters. 17% of them are selling 3,000 liters of milk every year. About 13% are selling 4,000 liters. There are about 37% of the farmers who are selling more than 4,000 liters. That means average 10 liters they are selling in the market every day. Now, if this is not the prosperity, what you call prosperity as, and lot of studies have been made. Wherever there are cows, there is no suicide, there is no fight. Our founder Manibhai used to say one thing: wherever there is a cow, the farmers become very alert. In the morning at 5 o'clock, cow reminds the family that I need some grass. Come on, get up 5 o'clock. And wherever they go, by the end of the day, they have to come back for milking. Such a disciplined life. Cow makes them so disciplined. And cow is the best tool for women empowerment. They don't have to go out. They can stay home and still earn money. In the family, if there is no cow, the women have to go out to the agriculture labor and earn, in the sunshine they earn and get cheated. They're exploited. So this is one of the powerful tools for women empowerment. It's a powerful tool for nutrition security. It's a powerful tool for organic agriculture. And that is what is a gold mine. Many times we used to say, when the veterinary department we interact, we are sitting on a gold mine, but we don't realize what it is. So the two important tool for livestock development is genetic improvement, disease surveillance and healthcare, feed management, and milk processing. And these are all very simple. It can be organized by locally. There is no technology. The technology has been demystified. You can depend on the district government department for surveillance. Rest of the technology you can manage on your own. As I said, there are a lot of barefoot technicians who can manage it. And the strategy for further genetic improvement is we must simultaneously, when you are using the nondescript for improving the productivity, we must also conserve our native breeds. You remember I have listed almost 30 breeds. Wherever the breeding tracks are there, we must conserve them. Absolutely, there should not be any compromise. Only thing, if they are drought breeds, who will conserve is a question. It's a policy matter. Government has to decide. Then, there are a lot of people who like to have native breeds. They are against crossbreeds. But why suggestion is, you have one crossbred exotic with the either Jersey or Holstein Friesian. When the crossbred is born, you can again back cross with our native breed, Sahiwal, Gir, whatever you want. Next breed will be, you will have better, more Indian breed. It's exactly that is done in Gir cows in Brazil. Brazil took a lot of our Gir cows. They first crossed with their exotic animals. Then subsequently, they again bred with the Gir bulls. As a result, today they call almost 90% of the blood in the Brazil Girando is Gir. And as a result, they produce 4,000 liters. So we can also do the same thing. You start with one crossbreeding, then subsequently come back with Sahiwal breed, with Gir breed, wherever the farmers like it, so that improve the by back crossing, we should be able to improve the Indian blood level, so that we worship Indian cow as well as produce a very high yields of milk. That's the way. And use of sorted semen, with that you can only produce female, so there is no male progeny. So the liability of maintaining the male can be avoided. Now, you need to have some technology for how do we make use of the drought breeds. And we need to also tell the government that if farmer doesn't want to have very unproductive cow, where will we let the cow go? It is the government responsibility probably to have some go southern, collect some money and feed the cows which are not productive but are not wanted by the farmers. So there is also saying that processing of urine, farmyard manure can be produced and sold. That can add to the economy. So the go southern is another important part. If you don't have this, I'm afraid farmers will stop maintaining cows. Because what will they do with the male cows? It's a very big liability. I have seen many people, they are not able to dispose of their male. They would rather dispose of the cow and bring buffalo. And I'm trying to tell that nothing wrong doing it. They will be much better off with buffalo. However, that's not the topic for the discussion today. We need some policy discussion so that farmer will be able to continue maintaining good quality cows and earn substantial income without having any liability. As you know, there is a tremendous pressure on the fodder feed resources. We have 63% of the concentrate shortfall. We have 61% green fodder shortfall. We have 22% of dry fodder shortfall. In spite of this shortage, why do we see the cows living? It's a big question. I have been also hearing for the last 50 years, this is slightly marginally changing. The shortage of feed and fodder has been a chronic problem of this country. Then I realized that when you have shortage, farmers don't feed the unproductive animals properly. So a lot of cows are starving. They are underproductive. On the other hand, like Punjab and Haryana, we have so much of paddy straw, wheat busa. farmers don't know how to dispose it of, they burn it. There is need for somebody to organize collection of these store, stock crop residues, process them, and market it. I think this is a very serious business we need to indulge. It's a great opportunity, so that there is, in this country, there is so much of fodder. Droughts are so much, floods are so much. Every year the feed has to be supplied by train. So in the areas where there is surplus, if you can organize, it can be an enterprise with government support to collect all the surplus fodder, process and store it, and ship it wherever there is need. And source of fodder. Even today, almost 55% of the feed is from crop residues, so it's a very big source. Cultivated fodder is 18% and grassland is 18. So crop residues 54%. This is where I was telling, unless you chop it, how do you make it efficient? If you want to make the crop processing efficient, you must have, there are some varieties of food crops where fodder production is also high without affecting the grain yield. For example, sorghum. In the olden days, there was a very high, tall growing sorghum, Maldandi, and immediately there was a hybrid sorghum which became dark. The fodder crop residue was not good for feeding cattle. But now again, the scientists have introduced lot of dual purpose where the crop growth is very high, the fodder has lot of production along without reducing the yield of food grain. So we need to identify very good varieties. The third one, high straw yielding variety. We need to improve the chop and soak, chopping and soaking. If you can cut it very slowly, keep it in water, it becomes soft, so palatability becomes high, wastage becomes reduced. You can add further nutrition by adding little urea, molasses, or some other things, even the kitchen waste, agricultural waste, or crop byproducts, so that the nutritive value of the roughage can be increased. There are also fodder can be produced in different ways. Wasteland should be brought under fodder production. There are good varieties, fodder varieties. We must introduce improved seeds. We must also have technology of post-harvest technology for avoid wastage. We should have fodder banks, and we can also have complete feed unit. There is a technology wherein the roughage as well as some concentration can be mixed and commodity to compact bale, so that farmer simply has to feed that bale. There is no separation, so the nutritive value can be high, and the fodder can be available to large number of small farmers who don't have any agricultural land for growing fodder. So some of these special fee schemes, and also microfinance we need to really give farmers. These are the crops which are suitable for perennial grasses, traditional maize, non-traditional crops, and under various systems also we can introduce fodder. For example, you can see this is a traditional way of farming where very good quality land is used for producing. If the farmer is able to have good quality animals and if sell the milk very efficiently at a competitive price, farmer does not mind using his best land for fodder production. Because if the fodder 1 kilo, if the fodder is fed to a good animal, the value of the fodder becomes very high. If the fodder is sold to an unproductive animal, the result there is no income, so the fodder value becomes zero. So with high quality animals, you should be able to use best quality land also for fodder production, but we don't like to encourage to compete between agricultural crop and fodder. See, there are also other systems. Most important is our farmer boundaries. We have a lot of boundaries. You can see this is Stylosanthes hamata between Tur. You can on the bunds you can have perennial crops like Jayanti, Susbania, Subabul. This can be conveniently grown on the field bunds, and you can meet half of the fodder only from field bunds. You don't have to devote the agricultural land at all. So if there is a will, there is a way. So this is the value chain. What is important is the farmer is here in the small farmer is in the center. Whosoever agricultural university or the agriculture department, bank, or the or any research center, they should not work in isolation. The tragedy of today's scenario is that there are a lot of institutions, they are working in isolation. The research which is done in the name of small farmer doesn't even reach the small farmer. That is where we not only waste our resources but also disappoint the whole investment. You take a lot of money in the name of poor farmer. If it doesn't reach, the donor thinks a lot of money has been spent on poor farmer, it doesn't go. So we must avoid, we must make sure, the donor must make sure that the money spent on various in the name of small farmer must reach, become part of the value chain. Then only I think there is prosperity. Otherwise, I have seen in the name of small farmer there are two offices doing the same work in sitting in one office. They don't see eye to eye. Somebody's money. Somebody gets central government fund, somebody gets state government, they work parallel and it doesn't reach the farmer. So it's a very important, if you are organizing a program, we must make a value chain chart and identify the role of different players, how this can be made efficient. Then, and if we involve the farmer producers, as I said in the first slide, all the farmers come together as part of it, then the business will be something different than what's happening today. So this is what is. There are also good opportunities for self-employed opportunities. You see, entrepreneurship of scope. There is possibility of illiterate youth to become paravets for taking of healthcare, breeding. 3 month training. In Punjab, we have some AI technicians who are again failed high school dropouts. They are earning 30,000 rupees a month. They have car also because more than they ride, they want more efficient reach to the farmer. You know, Once you have a paravet, the dependency on the government service becomes very least, and this efficiency becomes very reliable. When somebody pays money, he expects very good quality service. So you can have self-employed paravets for taking up healthcare, input supply, cattle feed production, cattle feed supply, chopping of the fodder, so on, mineral mixture, all kinds of things can be self-employed business. In every village, we can have a dairy input supply manager. It can be a business. There used to be a concept of agri clinic. Dr. Swaminathan had introduced it. But what the difference was that it was an agricultural graduate who is supposed to start. But agricultural graduate doesn't want to work into, a so dirty job. So high school dropout can be a manager for all this input supply. We can have a complete feed production. Every village have chakki mill. You can have feed mill. We can produce salt bricks. Goats require salt bricks. You collect different minerals, consult a veterinary expert, nutrition expert, meat, salt bricks. Every animal requires salt. If the cows and buffaloes have any deficiency in salt, they will have breeding problem. On the other hand, if there is a breeding problem, by feeding salt, they will start conceiving. So we can have fodder banks. Somebody can go and collect fodder from the surplus area, process it in stock and market it. There is seed production. There is an enterprise. Seed selling can be another enterprise. Fodder production can be a barren land, can be a job. Now I wrote to somebody that clean Ganga, Namami Gange mission. All the villages let the sewage there. If somebody takes that water to a barren hill in ravine areas and grow fodder, there will be additional fodder production and the Ganga becomes cleaner. So use of urban or semi-urban sewage waste for growing fodder on barren land, community land, can be a big business. It requires little coordination in the beginning. If you have few models, 10 models, it's not difficult to make it 100 models or 1,000 models. As a dairy farmer, you can have instead of 3 cows, you can have 10 cows. In Maharashtra, there are in Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, there are farmers with 10 cows, they get 30,000, 40,000 rupees a month. There is better job than a banker. So you need to think of the alternatives which can be attractive for the graduates and also high school dropouts to take up as an enterprise. Once they start seeing money, then they don't worry for working hard. Then dairy livestock trading can be another job. You know, village level market trade. Some of the farmers, we organized a very small program. We were in the goat development. Goats were, when the village traders come, they pay very small price. So what we did, we organized from the goat keepers. We selected 2 3 people, boys, and we encouraged them to hire a tempo, collect all the goats from surplus goats which are ready for selling. In a tempo, about 20 goats, 15 goats can go. They took it from about 60 kilometers from Udaipur. They took it to Udaipur market. Each goat can fetch 1,000 rupees more. Instead of 3,000, 4,000 rupees in the village, the farmers were able to get 6,000 to 7,000 rupees in the city. So this is the trading. Now we can. This is another enterprising opportunity. We need some backup, organization backup for these entrepreneurs. Otherwise, they will either exploit the community or they are being exploited. If there is a organization backup, then there is a regulation about the fair trade, fair business. Equipment hiring services is a great opportunity. Have a chaff cutter, have a tractor, have a irrigation equipment, have a milk. In a place like Urlikanchan where BAIF is located, there are milkers. They charge something like 200 rupees per cow per month. Imagine if you have 10 cows to be milked, they get about 2,000 rupees sitting. This is only half an hour job. Each milking takes 5 to 6 minutes. So milking can be a business. You can have now, bucket milking system. You take the bucket, immediately milk in 2 3 minutes, take money, charge money, whatever is economically viable. And that way, what happens is dairy farmer also gets relaxed. He can get some option. He can leave the farm for few days and go out for vacation. So that way, these services are very important. Silage making, chaff cutting, fodder enrichment, biogas, and FIM production, cow dung and urine based inputs. There are a lot of now new technologies I'm hearing. I'm not very convinced that cow urine can also create, cure cancer and many diseases. But validation is to be done. But if this is a business, we must validate and we must encourage. Milk collection, milk parlor. Imagine if you have a milk parlor in every village on the highway. A parlor can generate business of 5 to 10,000 rupees and save 50%. Why we should bring ice cream from a city? 100, 200 kilometers, our ice cream comes to the village. Can't we make a very entrepreneur model, where franchisee model can be promoted, that every village have a small, even a moving cart, hand cart, where you can have a small ice cream machine, you will have freezer, you can have fresh milk, scented milk, buttermilk, scented ghee or ice cream, whatever, paneer, chakka, whatever it is. By doing these milk parlors at a village level, in every village, lot of employment can be generated. If somebody is selling, behind that sale counter, there are 5 people getting employed. And the milk consumption can be doubled further because, we are increasing milk production. We also need to have good market. Otherwise, there will be glut in the market. So milk parlor is an extremely innovative concept. We must do some entrepreneurship, development, and that can provide fresh, beverages to our customers. They will be very thankful. Instead of paying 30 rupees for Coca-Cola, they will be happy to pay for milkshake, the 50 rupees for milkshake. Or instead of paying 20 rupees for a bottle of Coca-Cola, they will be happy to pay 30 rupees for the milkshake. What is wrong in it? So I think this is completely untapped. We have been not applying our mind. It has to be our business. Milk is ours. So by simply selling the milk to a cooperative, it's not the end. It only is our inefficiency. We are not able to apply our mind. I don't blame, because in the beginning when we had no food, we had to manage everything. But now we have come across that stage. We need to really become entrepreneurs. We need to add value. We need to focus on better quality, number of animals, less number of animals, but add more on the value addition, then we should be able to have comfortable business, assured business, and there can be prosperity. As I said, from 1951 to double the milk production, it took 40 years. From 2001 to double the milk production, it only took 10 years. In the next few years, it may take only 5 7 years to double the milk production. Doubling of milk production or income is not a challenge. But how do you make further increment by value addition and keeping that all the income within the community, then to give it to somebody is our challenge. And it is our indigenous solution. We have to put in our indigenous mind. It works because we know our customers, we know our situation, and we should be able to manage it. It cannot be given to outsiders, it cannot be given to the government, it cannot be given to the universities. It should be involving our own farmers. We should be able to make much better scenario in the years to come. With that, I think I'll be happy to now take some questions, and I hope the point is very clear and convincing. I once again assure that we are on a gold mine, and it is our baby. We must handle it. Dairy development in the last 50 years has shown that there is absolutely no risk. It is the dairy farmer who is the healthiest and the wealthiest today, and I think this is we have nothing to worry. We have readily available role models in the country, and only thing we need will to multiply. If we take it seriously, there should not be any poverty in the next 10 years. With that, let me say thank you very much, Dr. Moni, and all the office bearers of Shobhit University. I enjoyed talking. I hope my listeners enjoyed it too. With that, thank you very much. If there is any question, you can write to me. My email is here, narayanhegde47@gmail.com. I'll be happy to address. Thank you.
Very much. Can you come out of the presentation mode?
Pardon?
Can you come out of the presentation mode?
Yes, I will come now. मनीष जी जरा उसको कर देंगे.
Manish ji?
Okay, I'm done. Okay, thanks.
Thank you very much. And it is a very impressive talk, and with the lot of action plan to make dairy-centric circular economy at the village level. And, I was carefully going through every slide, your more than 1 hour talk, and also my preface for about 30 minutes. This 1 hour, 48 minutes talk has given a lot of, valuable, points covered for to facilitate how dairy-centric economy can be built up, development can be built up, self-reliance can be built up, and how to be the part of the vocal for local to make it global. It's very important. And a person with your very valuable experience, with more than 4.5 decades, your grassroots level, walking, and you can say that it's a padayatra that which you have done it, and now you are staying at ashram established by Mahatma Gandhi and working towards naturopathy. And it is very important that you took time to participate in this very important talk through the national webinar series on doubling farmers income by 2022. And you touched almost every point. One is that in 1987, when I was asked to work on project development for a district information system program for 512 districts, I was able to put the viewpoints to establish 28 sectoral database development programs in 512 districts, and presented in the district collectors conference, conducted during the late Prime Minister Mr. Rajiv Gandhi's period. And I presented this, district information system to all the district collectors. And that contained three components, district information system on agriculture, district information system on animal husbandry, and district information system on fishery. Then 95, this is, I, is a national conference, conference on informatics for sustainable agriculture development at Vigyan Bhavan, which gave a blueprint for IT in agriculture. Animal production and health informatics network. And 2000 January, I put up the proposal to the and then Department of Animal Husbandry and Dairying to have this animal production and health informatics network. Then 2012, we were able to establish National Animal Disease Reporting System in 7,032 locations. And during the 12th Five-Year Plan, and even suggested that we have to go beyond 7,032 location and cover all the milk collection centers where the farmer visits in the morning and evening, so that we should be in a position to have these dairy informatics value chain appropriately. Unfortunately, after my retirement, this project has gone into different direction. It has gone into statistics based development. And it is important to revisit, because it generates a lot of data morning and evening. And you have 60% of the surplus milk is an unorganized sector. Dairy cooperatives, it's very successful. And we also have to bring out through the if there is a problem in organizing dairy cooperatives in the unorganized sector, as you rightly said, it is a time to have a farmer produce organization established and bring this dairy value chain very effectively with all the farmers. You were given a lot of suggestions, and every slide needs at least minimum 2 hours discussion. And the last point which you said it, that the dairy entrepreneur development program. In 4 years back, we wanted to have a dairy entrepreneurs development program. I even come out with one of our NGO partner to have a one-day program, dairy entrepreneurship development program. And now it has now emboldened, after listening to your talk, with about 12 points which were talked about, the dairy entrepreneurship development components. I think by working with you, by involving you and your other stakeholders, that the dairy entrepreneurship development program is a must now. It has to be started as early as possible, at the earliest. And if we make dairy entrepreneurship at the grassroots level, taking all the scheme, you very rightly said it, for every scheme has got an officer to spend the money. But this is people don't even look at it. That's why I have been voicing that the block level agriculture officer or the real Facebook for the farmer. And we have got 6,500 development blocks. You have an agriculture officer, you have a rural development officer, you have an animal husband, livestock officer, you have a fisheries officer, and you have got a agriculture bank officer. Why can't they function from one office? So you have something like 6 into 6,500 officers with the taxpayers' money. If these 6 officers in the development block function from one office where the farmers can go and talk to them, get benefits, it is nothing like that. So the dairy entrepreneurship development program has to be linked with the 6 into 6,500 development block officers who are working for sustainable agriculture development, even sustainable agriculture and rural development. Rural development officers do not know what are the agriculture development programs, and agriculture development programs officers don't know which are all the rural development programs. So the thing is that lot of capacity building is a must, apart for officers working at the block level, and also that you rightly said it, that catch hold of all the school dropouts and make them as a dairy entrepreneur. And you also given a slide which shows that how a dairy entrepreneur, a school dropout, is becoming now income generator. And you have given very clearly that how is you touched almost all aspect of components of the dairy value chain. That's why I've been, for the last 20 to 25 years, I've been talking about dairy informatics value chain is a must. It's a must, and we have to bring it. When I initiated the talking, technology was not available, information system was strong, and now technology is available, but information system has taken a backseat. Everybody has got a smartphone, everybody has got an internet, everybody has got a video streaming software. But the thing is that that the all the actors who are in the all the stakeholders not in the value chain, they are not minimizing the cost which is involved. That's why I quoted in my talk that the 17 rupees per liter, it goes to the middleman. If 1 or 2 rupees per liter of milk which gets traded, if it is converted as a tax for digital infrastructure, because due to Dr. Korean, we have got an Amul pattern of dairy value chain. And with the digital technology, if it is digitalized, and with the schemes which can be which can be operationalized with the ways and means which you talked about, it actionable plan, that everybody who is interested in the village level, we can convert them as a dairy entrepreneur. We can make dairy centric circular economy. And you said it very clearly that having two livestock animal is also generate the same amount of methane of one car. But that doesn't mean that car doesn't give a livelihood opportunities. It is a luxury item. But the thing is that the two animals can give you a livelihood opportunity for the village level people. And I thank you. I think Dr. Hegde, our honorable chancellor, he was traveling, he was wanted to join, but due to the internet connectivity, and he said that message that why he sent an SMS message that he would like to have discussion with you, either in through video conferencing whenever you are convenient, and your association with the Soviet Institute of Engineering Technology. And you can see our interest, our preparedness, and our priority in organizing this webinar series and every way on a weekly basis to talk that how university can be a source of knowledge generation by bringing in experts from both from India and abroad, to give that knowledge generated through this such type of discussion to the farming community at the grassroots level. So we would like to work with you, and we would like to associate with you, and then we would like to promote what you have talked about in your latest book, as conceived by Mahatma Gandhi. And every one of us who have worked on the grassroots level as an IITian, I thought that it is a godsend opportunity for me to give technology back to the rural area. I should work for it. So for the last 35 years, for 35 years when I was in service, I thought there is a great godsend opportunity for me to work for sustainable agriculture and rural development schemes through digital technology. Now, after retirement, with the support of this university, the Honorable Chancellor has asked me to join the university rather than joining any industry, to work for agricultural informatics and e-governance. So we have established 5 centers of excellence. This is the first private university to have these centers of excellence, and also launched various programs to train agriculture graduate, engineering graduate, non-engineering postgraduate students to get into agriculture as a preferred option through digital technology. But today's talk, and with the logo which was put it, and I liked it very much because it conveys a message that self-reliant village, Atmanirbhar village is very important for us to have a sustainable life and sustainable livelihood and sustainable development. And today's our topic, dairy husbandry for food security and national prosperity, has to be the lifeline. It has to be the value chain. And I'm very happy that you agreed to participate, and lot of points you brought it. And as an action plan, maybe from December onwards, with your institution and the Shobhit Institute of Engineering and Technology, Center for Agricultural Informatics and E-Governance Research Studies, and Center for Agribusiness and Disaster Management Studies, let us launch a dairy entrepreneurship development program, maybe 3 months or a 6 months or a 1 month. And with your support, let us bring in dairy startup, dairy husbandry startup in every gram panchayat level. We can take up as a model one gram panchayat in every state, so that we can have about, and union territories, that about 36 model dairy husbandry startup with your association. Let us show to the country that dairy can dairy sector, animal, our livestock animal, the bovine animals, can give enough employment opportunity, enough income generation for the rural youths to get benefit out of it. They need not migrate to urban area as a migrant laborers. So, and with this summarization, I also would like to hear from you your final remarks,
Yes.
with for these viewers of this webinar series. Or Dr. Hegde.
Thank you, Dr. Moni. This is a proven technology and experience, hardcore. So I see very little chance of any failure. We in my during my time in BAIF, we were invited by Jharkhand government, and we went to the place. They were very very poor. Santal area has been very very backward. So we had our idea was to make sure that at least the technology should reach. Whether the performance is good or bad, but we should do the exposure. Then I tell you, we worked in BIFE work for about 10 years, and the 10th year was the real progress, where the first time there was some significant surplus of milk in Jharkhand. And to our surprise, whatever we said, government, they prepared to support the small farmers, like they were prepared to give mineral mixture, free medicine, and as a result, the newly bred calves, crossbreds, were better in Jharkhand than any other progressive state. Even Santal, our target was double, because they were prepared. The technology was made simple, and but they are convinced. Similarly, we went to Punjab. Punjab is one of the milk-rich states. Still, we thought, there are a lot of rich farmers who are very progressive, but there are also poor farmers. And even in Punjab, BIFE started as late in 2006 or 7. And we had tremendous work. We operated about 10 centers, and our operator, I was telling you, the high school dropout was earning 25,000 rupees, and in connivance with the government department. And many times when we worked in the past, as you said, many times we also felt that in case of livestock, if there is no department, the farmers will be progressing much faster than the department. There are many times department, in their all vested interests, come as hurdle also often. So we need to work in harmony with the department. As I said, sometimes we were feeling if there is no department, the farmers would progress much better than having a department, because you are there, you are not performing. You depend on them, but nothing is delivered. If the farmers know that nothing is free, farmer has to pay something, they will be very after us. But anyway, to cut the story short, with good harmony with the department, we should be able to work together. But I assure you that this is the best topic you selected. We need to train, because Shobhit University is a teaching university. If we can focus on developing some entrepreneurs, we can shortlist the thing. We start with the simpler ones, easier ones, so that one success will lead to other success. And we should bring some self-employed entrepreneurs. We can link with NABARD or some other agencies to for financing. And once this entrepreneurs start working, they will be, each of them will be helping 100 or 500 farmers. That is a service. So their contribution to the society will be much greater than what they take as a service free. And that way our community becomes mostly non-dependent on the government's help. That's the way we should progress. And since I have been we have been working, and it's we have learned a lot of things with uh, minor failures. So the chances of further failure are not there. Even if there is any failure, we can always encounter and sort it out. But and also milk parlor, why, you can individual, we can have a franchise brand, something Shobhit brand, milk parlors, so that you need a brand like a McDonald's. You go to any village, one, if it is McDonald's, they know what is the quality. Similarly, some quality assurance has to be there, otherwise people don't use the village parlor for taking food. So we need to really work it out, but we have the technology, we have the knowledge. We really need a platform who can. We have a lot of technologies in the country, a lot of experts, people who have worked, they generate a lot of knowledge. We can pool all the expertise from various sources and make it available to the farmers. So I look forward. We can create a platform for the successful model throughout the country and also elsewhere. Thank you very much, Dr. Moni.
Thank you very much, and it's very important. Let us work together. And you have crossed 70. I'm now going to cross 70 in another 1 year. And let us walk, and let us try to see that with all our expertise and the mission which we have, let us try to generate the dairy entrepreneurship development program very effectively, at the
Yes.
grassroots level. And thank you very much. And with this, I also would like to request you that with your institution, we would like to sign an MOU, so that it gives an institutional collaboration and cooperation and connectivity to go to any other agency to see that we are going to do that. Why don't you join with us? And then let us try to do that. You very right said it. We can ask NABARD and other agencies to, give appropriate funding to undertake these, value chain programs, entrepreneur development programs. But dairy sector cannot fail. It cannot be failure. And there's a dairy value chain which is already available for organized sector. It also has to come for all the other fruits and vegetables. There are also perishable commodity, fisheries, and traceability is more important. So that when Scandinavia, when the European countries can have milk products and they can send it to throughout the world, and this Amul has shown the way, during the last 40 to 50 years. And why can't the dairy entrepreneurs from the village level can also get into milk parlor? And it's a very important thing, that why should they, to take an ice cream, why should they go to town, cities, and so on and so forth. Thank you very much, Dr. Hegde ji. And
Namaste.
I still remember that how we used to frequently meet from
Yes.
the began Vigas days, and we conducted a
Good,
lot of
good, good,
international
good,
conferences.
Dr. Moni.
And
Good part is, you have the same enthusiasm, same energy, same personality which you had 15 years ago. And I surprised, what do you do? Do you get into cold freeze and, conserve all the energy, or do something else? That's a great thing to
see,
see you
the
again.
first conference, the title which we gave, I remember Professor Sundaram and Shri Sopal Sastri ji.
That
At
is
that
where
time,
we
was the
met
Bengal
first.
Planning Commission, and I was the organizing Secretary General. The first conference is that even
Yes.
before the Delhi, that at summit, the thing is that we had the Bhuvigan Vikas summit.
Yes.
We also celebrated Earth Day celebration, and
Correct.
also the first international conference is sustainable development and sustainable livelihood,
Correct.
lifestyle.
Mm.
And because village lifestyle is sustainable
Absolutely.
traditionally.
My
And
my book, Dr. Moni, that my book, that Shemitri, that's precisely what it is. You
so
have to
it is
read it.
that, yeah, so we'll promote it, and it's very happy because it is coming up from your experience, and our younger generation should know that what is really happened, what that. And this is an international conference on sustainable development and sustainable lifestyle. And urban lifestyles are not sustainable. If there is no water, there is no bus, there is no vegetable, and there will be a riot. But in village, there is drought situation, there is a flood situation, earthquake, or even that no food. People don't buy. The life goes on. And that's how we put it. And then and three conferences. But now with your things, I also wanted to revive that Vegan Vegas Foundation's ideals,
Yes, we
because
do.
sustainable development means geographers have to work at the grassroots level, and geography is not available. And even when I was the member of the technology and training component of Department of Space, when Mr. Madhav Nair was the chairman, he was chairing it. I told them that remote sensing technology imageries has to go to village level with the interpreter results, Gram Panchayat level. And we have got about 120 colleges who teach geography in the country. Why can't Department of Space adopt this 120 Department of Geographies, which are all in private colleges, and give them, that latest state-of-the-art, labs, and to understand remote sensing imageries, which comes from the Department of Space satellite, Indian satellites. Immediately, some officer scientist who was participating, he said that these geography departments, they don't teach physics and mathematics.
Mhm.
And even before I opened my mouth, Mr. Madhav Nair, I like him very much. He's one of the very competent
Very
space scientists. And he said that we'll write it to EGC to change the curriculum, because Department of Space can adapt to them. He can facilitate geographers to interpret our imageries, which goes from Indian satellite, which we launch. And if you don't generate human resources, then else will use it? Only some university departments. They can produce PhDs. And unfortunately, that the minutes of the meeting was not, didn't talk about this one. So I refused to sign the minutes of the meeting. And that the scientists who prepared the minutes of the meeting, and he prevailed the view, even that the chairman of ISRO, he was the secretary Department of Space, he said it, he made his mind very clearly. So the thing is that geography as a discipline has to be there for sustainable development at the grassroots level. And that's why I have been telling that every district has got about more than 2,000 crores as a from different schemes coming from central and state to the village level. In the district, where does the 2,000 crores go? It has to have a multiplier effect for the development. And so this is a very important thing, that we have to create a the ripple effect, and also multiplier effect by training the school dropouts for the dairy entrepreneurship and dairy animals. Every house, let them have at least minimum 3 bovine cattle. That is that one which we should do, that for which fodder development is important. Dr. Harinder Singh from Punjab is working in the field. He said, he talked in the platform that commercial processing of fodder is the game changer for dairy sector.
correct.
Is a game changer. Commercial
Correct.
processing of fodder. So you also very rightly said it, that you have to process the fodder and give when it is needed. Don't put it in front of the bovine animal. And with this, I thank you very much. And we are meeting physically after so many decades, but let us continue our journey. and
Thank you
thank
very
you
much.
very much.
I
With this,
enjoyed
I thank all
interacting.
of you, and
Thank
especially you, and let us join together and let us make our Padayatra once again.
thank you,
Thank you
Dr.
very
Moni.
much. Thank you.
Wonderful. Namaskar. Namaskar.
Thank you. With this,
Mohit,
we'll leave the
Mohit ji,
studio
thank you very much.
and close the webinar. Thank you very much, and
Namaste.
thank you for your participation and
Thank you.
greeting from the Shobhit University. For more research inquiries, please
Thank
contact Professor Moni Maraswamy, Professor Emeritus and Chairman, Center for Agricultural Informatics and E-Governance Research Studies, and Center for Agribusiness and Disaster Management Studies, and former Director General, National Informatics Center, Government of India, New Delhi. My email ID is moni@shobhituniversity.ac.in. This is the first private university which has launched MTech in Agricultural Informatics and E-Governance Research programs for BS Agriculture Science graduates and engineering graduates and so on and so forth. We'll leave the studio and close the webinar. Thank you.